Welcome back to the Python tutorial, and today we're going to be finding the volume and surface area of a cylinder. And the equation for volume is going to be pi r squared times height, and for area is going to be 2 pi r times height plus 2 pi r squared. So if they enter 24.2 for the radius and 7.2 for the height, this should be our output, these two numbers. Now we know if we calculate it right. So first we need a couple of variables. We could do radius, and we need to get user input into the radius. We could say radius equals float input. And we're using a float because we don't want it to be a whole number. So we don't want it to be an integer. We actually want it to have to be a number with like decimal points and numbers after it, so it could be more exact. And then we could say height equal to float input. Okay, so now we have user input inside of radius and inside of height. Now we can actually start calculating the volume. So we could say volume equal to math.pi, because it's going to be pi r squared times height. And we're getting like a little error here because math is not imported. So if we import math, our actual error will go away. So we have pi, but we need to multiply pi times r squared. So we could do pi times power, which is a method which will raise a number to whatever power we tell it to. We want to raise radius. Raise radius to the second power. And then we just multiply that by height. So we have volume done. Now we just need surface area. So surface area is going to be 2 pi r times height. So we can do 2 times math.pi, which should be take care of these two. Now we just need to multiply that by radius and by height, times radius times height. So we have this first part done. Now we could say it's going to be times 2 times math.pi, be 2 times pi times r squared. Remember, r squared we could do power, and we're going to raise radius to the second power. That's why the number 2 is there. So we have our actual equations, and we have like the actual output inside of volume and surface area. So now we just need a way to print it out. So we could say print. So when we print it, I want it to only have one number after the decimal point. So we could do that once we're printing it. We could say volume, and then we could use these curly brackets. In there we could tell it to do dot 1f. And then we could say dot format. And here we tell the computer what to format. In this case, it would be volume. And if we run this, the first part should run. So let's actually run it. So let's match the output, the mismatch input. We could do 24.2, and then do 7.2. And if we did it right, that should match that, which it does. So now let's pretty much use the same thing for surface area. So we could say surface area, and we're going to format the number so it only has one decimal point, and we don't want to format volume, we want to format surface area. And now if we run it one more time, we do 24.2, then 7.2, and then we get our actual correct output, which means we did it right, which means we're done. And all the code's on screen. If you like this video and it helped you at all, just leave a like and subscribe.